I'm all for choosing a big variety of weapons and having fun trying out different things. And in Warzone we can do that to an insane extent with over 150 weapons available to us. But sometimes we just want to have some high kill games, maybe increase our win percentage, or just stop a bad losing streak. Which is why in today's video I'm going to go over the statistically best weapons in Warzone Season 3 in terms of kill to death ratio. And on top of that we'll be taking a look at some of the most popular weapons in use right now and whether you should be still using them. And I've got to say, after looking at some of these stats, you guys are absolutely wild, and I'll show you why in just a minute. First though, we will be taking a look at the best performing weapons in terms of KD, and this is the Battle Royale. All of the information shared here, by the way, is from wzranked.com, so warzoneRanked.com, which has all kinds of information on it should you wish to visit. So let's take a look at the list, and it's no surprise that we see the Owen gun still out in front. It's used by every top player and just fries the lobbies right now. Players using the Owen gun on average have an amazing 1.44 KD, and actually the top 3 KD weapons are all SMGs. And that may surprise some of you, because I know most of my friends use an assault rifle with maybe a sniper or even an LMG, but very rarely use an SMG, so maybe that's something they can think about going forward. Then next up we have the absolute wild card, that is the Modern Warfare shotgun, the Jak-12. This has been one of those rare and surprising weapons that pop up out of nowhere and just come to the top of the meta. It's been out for nearly 2 years now, but this fully automatic shotgun monster is super fun and most importantly, super easy to use, which is why we see people using it have an average of 1.26 KD in Warzone right now. Its recent popularity and climb up the meta is probably thanks to its popularity on Rebirth Island, where you may have seen clips of it just destroying people. Then after the Jak-12, we have our first assault rifle on the list, and it's the most chosen weapon overall on the game by far, and that's the STG. No real surprises there. Next we have our first sniper, which a month ago you wouldn't dream of using or seeing on a list like this, and that's the ZRG from Cold War. Of course we did have a change up to the way snipers work on Warzone quite recently, where essentially they received a major nerf. In particular, marksman rifles such as the Kar98 were heavily nerfed, where they no longer one-shotted people in the head like they did previously. This has meant alternative snipers such as the ZRG can finally actually be used. After that we have some pretty standard but albeit new options to use, including the Lapper SMG, the Type 100 SMG, and the C58 assault rifle from Cold War. Now when we click to see more, we can see some close options around those weapons in terms of KD too. Surprisingly, the XM4 doesn't make the top 10. However, what is quite a surprise is that the Street Sweeper is close to the top 10, and that's probably due to the Jak-12's popularity and people are using it when they don't have the Jak-12 unlocked. It's kind of a stopgap to make them feel like they're getting involved in that horrible shotgun kind of meta. Now this is where things get really interesting. If we go across to the most chosen weapons, we get a massive surprise, and for some of you, and I mean you need to listen up. Okay, so at the top we know the STG is the most chosen weapon by a long way and has a decent KD return. Then we have the MP40 with over 7% of people choosing it with an okay KD return. Of course next we have the Owen gun is up there, and rightfully so. Then we have our first question mark, and that is the Cooper Carbine. The Cooper Carbine has been in and out of the meta for some time now, but for most people they've kind of left it behind, or at least I thought. It is actually the 4th most chosen weapon on the game right now, despite only averaging a 0.87 KD. This either tells us that the weapon isn't great, or the people choosing it aren't great. Either way, if you are using it right now and want to improve your stats and maybe win more, I suggest changing up that loadout. Okay, now back to the list. We have the XM4, okay. Also the HDR, welcome aboard. This is an absolute OG sniper, super popular when Warzone first came out, and it's great to see it back after those sniper nerfs that I mentioned earlier. Then we have the Wellgun and Automaton, okay, that's to be expected. Then, what do we have here? A Kilo 141, the Modern Warfare and early Warzone trusty companion. Now I know you guys love Modern Warfare, and for most of you, you actually prefer Modern Warfare weapons over the rest of the weapons in Warzone, at least according to a poll on my community page quite recently. But come on now, it's the 9th most chosen weapon on the game, and yet when people use it, they only average a 0.62 KD. For context, if we sort this list by KD ratio and scroll down, And down a little further, we actually see it's third from bottom in terms of pure KD. So it's the 9th most chosen weapon, but is third from bottom in terms of KD. This is just insane. I don't think I've ever seen such disparity in a weapon in terms of popularity to just the effectiveness and quality of the weapon. Now the crazy thing is, I'm actually real proud of you guys. Keeping loyal to Modern Warfare and your favourite weapon, in spite of what is the meta right now, is actually commendable. But if you do ever feel like straying over to the meta, or just using a weapon that doesn't fire peas at people, just check out the top 10 KD weapons in the list that I've shared in this video, and you'll have something to choose from which you'll enjoy, such as the STG or the Owen gun. They just absolutely wallop people. Now that you've got more information on which weapon to run in your next loadout, please check out this video and fix your perks when you're playing Rebirth Island. Cheers!